Today on People with Passion for Pets, we talk about flyball with Mary Dees. Mary has a big passion for dog sports and is the co-captain of the Phoenix Flyball team Crazy Train. So, hi, welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
So, Mary, you are the co-captain of a flyball team here in Phoenix, Arizona, and you are called the Crazy Train?
We are, yes. We've been around for about 5 years. We started in 2015, and it's been a crazy ride.
That's a very cool name.
So flyball sounds very exciting. I know Jim and I, a few years back, we saw flyball for the very first time. We were at an event and we heard out of this corner, there was this corner and there was like all this ruckus, like barking, and
People
people,
yelling and barking,
people
yeah.
were cheering. And so we ran over there. We were like, we got to see what this is.
It
So we
is
saw the
very
flyball.
Yeah, it's loud and exciting, and the people get excited and the dogs get excited. Yeah, it's very fast. The race actually only lasts about 20 seconds because each dog only takes approximately 5 seconds or less to get down there and get the ball. So you don't blink when you're watching because you'll miss something. But yeah, it's very exciting.
I relate that to like a little league baseball game. You know,
Yes.
The kids are running around the bases. Well, the parents are just as excited as the kid is. You know,
They are. Yes.
So, Mary, I'm assuming that you've been doing it for a while.
Yes, I've been doing flyball for approximately 10 years. It's just one of those great sports that's so much fun. You just kind of get into it, and it's a little bit addicting, and your dogs love it, and it's great exercise for them. So yeah, about 10 years.
For some of our viewers, they may not know what that sport is. Could you explain it a little bit?
Sure. Okay, so flyball is a 4-dog relay race. So it is a team sport. It's been compared to drag racing for dogs. It's a straight lane. It's 51 feet long. There's a start finish line, and then there's 4 jumps. The first dog goes over the 4 jumps, hits the ball box, and the ball box has a tennis ball mounted on it, and it's spring loaded. So when the dog hits the box, the ball shoots out. The dog catches the ball and then comes back over the 4 jumps and then crosses the start finish line, and then the next dog goes. So the team that does this the fastest without making any mistakes wins the race.
so I noticed too when we were reading about flyball that the teams they kind of stack the teams. So you have your fast dogs, and then the jumps are for the smallest dog in your team. So they'll have a small dog just to set the jumps.
Yes, exactly. So the height of the jumps is measured by the smallest dog on your team. So traditionally, if you're being very competitive and wanting to have the fastest team possible, you'll have one small dog, which is known as the height dog. And then you'll have 3 bigger dogs, which obviously are going to be faster. They have longer strides, stronger legs. So they're, very fast. So yeah, it kind of gets the competition going.
So tell us about your dogs. What do you have for your team?
Okay, so I started off with a chocolate lab. We got her as a puppy, and we're a little overwhelmed by her amount of energy. And so that's when I looked into flyball and took a training class and got on a team. And so that's Sasha. She's retired now. She's 11. And after that, of course, I had to get one of the coveted height dogs. So I got a small dog, and that's my little girl, Molly. And she is actually a Chihuahua mix. And she was supposed to be a Jack Russell. I rescued her, and you know how the rescue always kind of tries to guess the breed. But I did a DNA test on her. 0 Jack Russell.
Well, we think of her no less.
That's right.
Yes. She's Pekingese, Chihuahua, and Lhasa Apso. But I told her every day that she was a Jack Russell. So
You're the ringer dog. You need to be a Jack.
Yes. She competed. She did very well. She not only did fly ball, but she also did agility. And so that was my little Molly. And then after that, of course, I needed to get a border collie because border collies excel at all dog sports. So then I got Paige, who is super smart, and she is actually a border collie and Catahoula mix.
Ooh.
And I also wanted to get a border collie so that I could do herding. So she does fly ball and herding, and she's 5 now. She does very well both sports. And now my last dog is again a rescue, and he is a little Jack Russell mix.
Yeah.
So another hype dog for me. But yeah, most of my dogs have been very challenging to train. I kind of go for that challenging dog, I guess, by getting rescues, and had to have that Catahoula, but they're a stronger breed to train. So yeah, that's my family.
Wow. So when you talk about training, what are some of the things people can do to get their dog ready for fly ball?
Well, you can start right away as soon as you either rescue a dog or get a puppy. One of the things that you can do is build a strong recall, because your dog is running all the way down this lane away from you and then having to come back. And so if you have that really strong recall, they'll come back faster. So that's always a good thing to do. We always try to get people to play a game that we call is the dead ball game. And so basically what you do is you hold your dog and you toss the ball a few feet away from you, and then wait until the ball completely stops and is not moving, and then send your dog to go get the ball. So this is good for a couple of reasons, because dogs, you need to know which way your dog is going to be more comfortable turning. So dogs are right pawed or left pawed, I guess you would call it. So they go one way easier than the other. And so when you're playing this game, you keep track of which way your dog turns the most. And that's the way that you train your dog to take the ball from the box, is by turning in that direction.
And I never even thought about a dog being a left-handed and right-handed dog, but just like in any sports, which way you're going to turn or which way you're going to go. Yeah, it's
exactly. And if you've ever tried to train a dog to spin in a circle, you'll find that they spin or learn to spin one way much quicker than the other way. So that's their strong side.
And the dead ball drop, that's really interesting too, because everyone knows about the prey drive of a dog. When you throw a thing, it's going away from them, so you want to chase it. If you have a ball just sitting there, it's not so motivating to go get it. So that's really a good idea to teach it. There is a difference, and you can still get the ball. You just don't have to pursue it. You just go get it.
Well, and I can only imagine too, with all the excitement going on and the energy being so high and other dogs barking and other dogs being there. I mean, that certainly has to be a challenge too in training, right?
It is, yes. And at the start finish line, the dogs have to run past each other. So there's a dog coming down the lane with a tennis ball in its mouth, and you're asking your dog to go get a tennis ball. So they have to consciously make the choice to go to the box and get their tennis ball instead of chasing the dog that has a tennis ball in his mouth and just taking it from them. So yes, there are a lot of training challenges. And then there's always tennis balls rolling around in the run back area, because when the dog gets finished, they spit their ball out. And so if you're like the fourth dog, there's could be tennis balls rolling around. So you have to teach your dog specifically that they need to go to the box and get a ball of their own.
Well, speaking of training, if I have a dog that has no idea what's going on, is there people there that can help focus my dog and myself on how to play the game and basic obedience stuff that I need to know and my dog needs to know?
Yes. There are several teams, flyball teams in the Valley. Just about every team holds a training class. So if you contact the team, they will set you up with a training class, and they'll teach you all those beginning things. And like our team has practice every Sunday. So once a week we get together and we have all of our team members there. And then we have people there who are taking the training class. And so you might be the only person in the training class with all the team members, or there may be, 2 or 3 people taking the training class at the same time. But all the team members help out and show you what you need to do to get your dog to advance to a flyball champion.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot of fun too, to get together. Now, did you say you get together like once a week?
We do. Yes, we get together on Sundays. So it's once a week, and we get together at a local park, and we all run our dogs. We work on the things that our dogs, if we have like green dogs that aren't quite ready to race yet, we work on what they need the skills that they need to learn to build up their ability to race. And then with our other older dogs that are able to race, we practice the teams, because you want to get the quickest time. And one of the best ways to do that is to have the closest passes. So when the first dog is coming back and the second dog is going, you want them to pass as close to the start finish line as possible. And you want all the dogs on the team to be able to be comfortable passing the dog in front of them. So
you might try out different dogs, like in different situations, so you see which ones work better together. And
yes, exactly. So some dogs pass other dogs better. And so we practice that to make sure that we're all in sync.
That's really neat. Is there a certain age in which you would recommend you start a dog, or can any dog do this?
You can start a dog at any age, but we don't allow them to go over the jumps until they're at least like 10 months old. And they can't actually get a racing number and race until they're a year old.
And the type of dog's really it doesn't really matter what type of dog, big dog, little dog.
It doesn't matter. The breed of dog, we have, like I said, hype dogs that are small, like Chihuahuas, Jack Russells, Pomeranians. Mm-hmm. And then we have the medium-sized dogs, which would be like the Border Collie. And then, of course, we have huge dogs too. We have a Beauceron on our team, and over 100 pounds. And she is a really big dog. And then there are some dogs are bred specifically for flyball. Some people call them sports breeds or sports mix. And so they will specifically breed Border Collies with Whippets, because the Border Collie is super smart and very driven, and the Whippet is leaner and fast. So that's a very popular sports mix.
I had not heard of that, but so it sounds more like it's more about temperament, or whether or not your dog is more athletic, like you want something that wants to retrieve a ball and loves to run, rather than maybe a laid back dog. It might be a different
Basset Hound's probably not the number
different
one
sport
breed,
might be.
Well, there are all different kinds of teams. There are some teams that are very competitive, and they want to have the fastest times and win all the races. And then there are some people that just do for fun. So I've seen Basset Hounds race before, yes. So any breed can race. We've had Bloodhounds, which was just hilarious because he just kind of lumbered down and got his ball and came back. But they had just as much fun. So just depends on what your goal is.
Now, Mary, if somebody wanted to get started, and not all of our viewers obviously are here from the Phoenix area, is there like a association or a website somebody can go to and check for teams in their area?
Yes, Flyball is governed by two associations. One is NAFA, NAFA, and the other one is UFly, UFLI. And they can check their websites, but yes, if you Google Flyball, you will get all kinds of results of teams in your area. And our team has a website. If you're from this area, it's crazytrainflyball.com.
That's awesome. And of course, I'll make sure that I'll put the links in the description below the video for our viewers.
Cool. Excellent. So yeah, if you Google that, you will come up with our webpage, and then you will also get our Facebook page. So lots of fun photos on there. You can see us racing and some videos of us racing too. So
we have talked a lot about the dogs. I want to talk a little bit about handlers. What do you think is required of a handler, and what ages of people do flyball?
Well, anybody can do flyball. It's not super physical for the handler. The dog does most of the work. And again, you just choose the appropriate size dog that you want to handle. I don't think I would be choosing any 100-pound dogs to handle. They're a little bit more work. But any age group, we have what's called junior handlers that run dogs. They usually start out, kids usually start out doing things to help the team out, like picking up the balls in the run back area is their first introduction to flyball. And then as they learn, then they start to run their own dogs. And there have been teams that have had 4 junior handlers on a team, and they actually run their own race and their own team, and they were really good.
So let's talk about, since the dogs are off leash, how does that work? How do the leash laws work, and what do you find about when you're out doing that? How do you work that?
Okay, so the park that we practice at, we get a training permit, and that allows us to have our dogs off leash. A lot of the stuff you start off with is done on a long line. So you'll just be doing your recalls, but your dog will have a 30-foot long line, so they won't actually be off leash.
So is that permit a daily thing, or a per dog, or a per park?
It's for our team. I don't think it specifies the number of dogs because it always changes every week. If somebody can't show up, or somebody shows up that has more dogs or fewer dogs.
Practice.
Well, or obviously, depending on what area or what country our viewers are in, check with your local governing rules and regulations in regards to off-leash activities with dogs. Now, I was looking there behind you on the wall. There are some awards. Are those flyball awards?
Yes, those are our flyball awards from our very first year. That's our region award, and we won multi-breed for our region, and we won just the regular championship for our region. So, and that was our very first year of racing.
Wow,
Wow.
very cool.
And that's international also, or just US?
These ones are just NAFA. This is just the United States and Canada, so North America. Every year they have a national race. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's called Can-Am. They hold it at the fairgrounds, and people come from all over, from Canada and all over the United States. We've had teams from Alaska, just teams from everywhere come and race for 2 days and have lots of fun.
Well, I bet that's a noisy situation, but boy, the energy ought to be something.
It is, yes. Earplugs are always recommended.
It's awesome.
So obviously, when you are competing at that level, you are traveling with your dogs, and then you also, I'm assuming it's a good idea to crate train your dog.
Yes, definitely. Crate training is fabulous because basically you have an area, a crating area where all your dogs from your team put their dogs. So we all set up crates, and our dogs stay in their crates all day, except being taken out to go to the bathroom and to race. So, and it's kind of close quarters sometimes. So your dog needs to be able to be in the crate and be relaxed, and then also to be around the other dogs that are in their crates.
Now, when you guys go to far away places like Indianapolis, would you fly there, or do you drive your dogs? How do you go there?
Our team has always driven. The year that I went, there were 3 girls, me and 2 other team members, and we took 12 dogs and
Wow.
in a van and drove straight through from here to Indianapolis. So with all the doggy potty breaks and everything, it took us about 30 hours to drive straight through. But we all took turns driving and sleeping, and we made it.
Wow. And then were you able to stay like at a dog-friendly hotel, or, we're
Yes.
all about traveling with dogs, so I'm always interested in how
Exactly.
people make those kind of accommodations.
Whoever is the hosting team, they always do a really good job of researching the dog-friendly places to stay. And so it's always posted in your welcome letter. And we've found that Motel 6 always allows dogs. So that's a really dog-friendly hotel that we stay at a lot.
Even 12, huh?
Yeah, even 12 dogs.
How many dogs do you have?
But I guess you
12.
were 3 ladies, so divided by 3, you only had 4 dogs.
Yeah.
That's right.
And some of the dogs were being brought for other people who were flying. So some people did fly in, but we took their dogs for them. So
That's great. That's awesome organization.
Oh, my
Like
goodness.
I said,
It is.
I'm always interested in how people, travel with the dogs and make things like that happen. So that's awesome.
And you really have to be into it to do it, because it's not an easy thing. Just driving by yourself is still a tough thing to do. Driving with an animal you got to take care of. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so our team did get invited to the World Cup, which is in Belgium.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, we got canceled. And so we didn't get to go. But that is a whole different range of travel preparation, because the dogs that would be racing had to be crated and flown as cargo. So that's a whole nother stress level and a lot of things that you need to do to make sure your dog is safe.
And then you have to worry about all the vaccines and the travel documents just for your dogs. My goodness.
Yes.
I flew my dog from Germany to the US, and it is very stressful. I think it's more stressful for the dog owner than it is for the dog, actually.
Definitely. So we contacted a team that had gone the year before, and got some advice from them on tips of, what should we do? And there were a couple of really unique things. They recommended a letter to the pilot explaining that you're bringing your dogs and asking if you can be notified when the dog is actually put on the plane. So I thought that was really unique. They also recommended GPS tracker on your dog in the changing of planes and whatever, if you don't have a direct flight, or you want to be able to track where your dog's at all times. So that was another really good tip. I thought was cool.
Yeah, those are some really good tips, actually.
Yeah, even if, exactly. Just what part of the airport is your dog?
Yes.
It's nice, the technology that's out there, from years ago. Well, my thing was 30 years ago, so I don't think they had GPS trackers for dogs in those days.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Mary, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mary.
Go home.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the information. And until next time, keep your paws on the road.